1971 to 1974. Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Trawler.
Game 134, Twins at Braves. Welcome back, baseball fans. 1971-74 Carryover League. We are back with some more interleague play for you. And yeah, we can bring you a World Series repeat. This one's a little more obscure. We have the Twins and Braves. Gotta go to 1991, I believe. This would be Curry Puckett and Kent Urbick versus the Braves' first trip to the World Series in that timeline. That was unsuccessful, I believe, and I believe Lonnie Smith had a base running blunder in that thing, and Jack Morris had a well-pitched game, but that's another timeline, that's another history. Twins at Braves in a best-of-3 interleague battle. Let's first take a look at what happened in Game 1 that opened in Minnesota. Back and forth. Minnesota for 1, Atlanta for 2, and back in Minnesota if there's a Game 3. Phil Niekro and the Braves at Burt Blyleven and the Twins. And right out of the blocks, they get to Knucksy. Carew single, RBI double by Heisel. Single by Oliva after striking out Killebrew and Holt with 2 outs and 2 on. Chico Cardenas with a 3-run bomb. And it's 4 runs. But as you know, if you've been following the Braves in the offseason, this team's loaded, so I don't know if 4 runs is going to be enough. Top of the second inning, Davy Johnson, solo homer, off his card. 5th inning, Davy Johnson, solo homer, off his card. It's 4-2. We get into the 8th inning. Blyleven's got everybody else out. Besides that, I believe a couple singles in there, I guess. He strikes out Johnny Oates, gives up a double to Maury Wills, and then the bright idea of let's get Blyleven out and get a lefty against Baker. He's not as good against lefties. Dusty Baker. So Dusty Baker rolls a 3-6 on his card. It's a homer versus lefties, a homer versus righties, a homer versus Blyleven or Morris or me or anybody throwing underhand or overhand. It's just a homer on his own card. Nothing you can do about it. And it's suddenly a 4-4 game. And then in the 9th inning, Stan Williams faces Frank Tepedino and another home run, and that's Atlanta with 5 runs, all on home runs. Minnesota doesn't do anything after that first inning. And then in the 9th inning, they bring in their closer, Tom House. My goodness, folks. 3 up and 3 down, and Minnesota humbly walks home. Yeah, 1-0 Braves up in the series. Let's look at the overall standings very early in each division, because these interleague sweeps make it much harder to overcome. Though the Twins, yeah, they were a playoff team a year ago. This is last year's seeds, and this year they have not won a game yet. They were swept in the first round of the playoffs by, who did sweep them? Was it? Oh, it was Toronto. Yeah, Toronto beat them 3 straight. And your hot Atlanta Braves, what are they up to? They're 4-1. Hot Atlanta is. They beat somebody 3-1 in the first round. I believe it was the Dodgers. No, maybe it was Houston. But they're 4-1, which takes us to a Game 2 in hot Atlanta. Your pitchers for the Twins today, it'll be Jim Kitty Cott. Very good 1972. 10-2 with a 2.07 ERA. Maybe the career low. Though you have to do a lot of research on that. This guy pitched in like the 1940s. No, maybe not. 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. But a 2.07 ERA seems rather low for old Mr. Cott. And George Stone pitched for the Braves in this timeline. Ironically, he was a Met in 1973, and the Braves said, no, let's stay here in Atlanta. And of course, the Mets could not fit the lefty Stone, as you're only allowed 3 lefties on their team, and they had Jerry Kuzman, John Matlack, Doug McGraw. So Jim Cott, George Stone today from Hotlanta in a game number 2. Let's get started. Leading off is Rod Carew. 311 rolls to second. Larry Heisel, 510, catcher's card. This is Paul Casanova's a 316. Pass ball out. Cleo James, 48, pop to short. Bottom of 1, it is Ralph Garr. 1-6 is a base hit for the 8th stealer. Roof has a 0 arm. Let's try some stolen bases because it's something fun for the Braves to do. Oh yeah, he gets that, and the T rating of Roof is 1-12. He doesn't get that, so it's a stolen base. Guy at second for Dusty Baker. 49 off Cott is short X. Chico Cardenas, the 2E12. Makes the play. Runner holds second. Rico Suave, 1-4 flies left. And with 2 outs in the running scoring position, it'll be Hank Aaron. Let's take a look at Henry Aaron's card of 1971. Magnificent. Probably one of the rare times you can't win the MVP because there's another guy in the league who had a better batting average and more RBI than Hank, and that was Joe Torre. But Hank Aaron, a 2 at right, a 3 at first, 47 homers, 327 average, 71 walks. Missed some time. He only had 495 at-bats. Only had 495 at-bats with 47 home runs. And struck out 58 times. That's right, 47 homers, 58 strikeouts for Hank Aaron. That's the key number in that stat. And here is the pitch to Hank Aaron. 37 is a fly to center. Top of 2. It'll be Harmon Killebrew. 56, short X. Marty Perez is playing there today, a 3 shortstop, E38. And he kicks the ground ball there. Twins over base runner. Tony Oliva and on 2-8 is a 3-6-3 double play. Tough break for the Twins. Chico Cardenas, 1-8. Let's take a look at old Leo Cardenas of 1971. What a great year this is. You know, a 2E12 shortstop with power both ways, with 18 home runs and a 264 batting average and 605 plate appearances. That's a heck of a performance by Chico Cardenas. A little lying under the radar there. One of his best years ever. And 1-8 against the lefty is see you later. And the Twins are on the board. 1-0. All right, batting 7th, Jim Holt. 55, bounce to short X. And the 338 shortstop makes the play this time. The error did not hurt the Braves. It was erased by a double play. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. It's Darrell Evans. 58 strikes out. Davey Johnson, 68, he pops to first base. Kurt Motton, 411, rolls meekly to first. We go to the 3rd. Phil Roof, the roof is on fire, 1-6. Let's take a look at the Phil Roof card. It's such an interesting card. This is one of those flying under the radar cards because if you just looked at the stats, he's a 205 hitter. So a lot of times if you're doing a draft and just looking at the analytics and baseball reference and you're not looking at the splits, you're going to avoid a 205 hitting catcher. But the reality is it's 25% against lefties. He hits over 300. It was the 75% against righties where he was awful. And you have the opportunity in this carryover league to manipulate that. And Twins certainly are trying. 1-6, a clean double to center field. That'll bring up the backup catcher, and both of them are playing today. Mitterwald's the designated hitter. George Mitterwald, 43, pitcher X. Stone is an E0. So we don't advance the runner or move him up. Carew, 56 is a K. And with 2 outs, Heisel, 2-6, another K. And Stone strands that dude at second. Marty Perez, 69, lines of short. Paul Casanova, 55, second C. Ralph Garr, 49, second X. This is Carew is a 2E16. makes the play. We go to the fourth. It is Cleo James. 2-6, rolls to short. Harmon Killebrew, 65. Off the stone card, double 1 to 16. A 2-base hit for the big man at third. Tony Oliva, 2-8, same as the first time, a roller. But the runner from second will move over to the third. And it's Chico Cardenas, the offense today. And Chico Cardenas! You guys know what just happened there. Another 1-8 for Chico, and it is gone. Third homer in 2 games. Basically, all of the Twin offense in these Atlanta games. 4 runs, well, a 3-run homer in the first inning, so somebody else got an RBI. But then 2 solo homers in this game. Actually, that's not a solo homer. What am I talking about? It's a 2-run shot. Scoring Killebrew. So, yeah, 3-0 Twinks. Jim Holt, 1-5, rolls to second base. Bottom of the fourth. It's Dusty Baker, 43, right X, off cot. Right fielder is, Oliva's a 2-9, but he drops the ball. Tony's not having a very nice day today, is he? Got a double play, ground out, and an error. Rico Suave, 55 off cot, second C. Runner goes to third, 3-run lead, they're going to play back for Hank Aaron. 68, pops to first base. And with 2 outs, Darrell Evans. 67 is a strikeout. Jim Cott, a lefty, keeping the Braves scoreless through 4, a minor miracle. Let's go to the 5th, and it's Phil Roof. 48, pops to short. George Meterwald, 66, a base hit off of Stone. Rod Carew, 312. Oh boy, this is not good news at all. It's a strikeout and it's an injury. Which means that, well, Kurt Bleffery is the utility guy. He will have to be the backup second baseman. Oh boy, that could come into play. Go from a 2 defense for Carew to a 4. With 2 outs, it'll be Larry Heisel. 55 off Stone, rolls the second. 3-0 game. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, bottom of the 5th, it'll be Davey Johnson. He's in a personal home run hitting contest with Chico Cardenas. Chico 3, Davey 2. Let's see what happens here. 2-8 right on cue. Let's take a look at it, folks. 2-8 against the lefty for Davey Johnson. If you want to tilt the board, Davey Johnson will eventually overcome Chico Cardenas because Chico had 18 home runs and Davey's got 43. So in the long run, we know who's going to win that battle. But 2-8 for Davey Johnson, both ways, lefties and righties, along with homers on 2, 3, and 4. It is gone, and the Braves are on the board. My goodness. And he bats 6th with all those homers. Kurt Moten, 2-9 is double 1 fly ball and a fly ball. Marty Perez, 47 is single 1 to 13, base hit. And your tie run is Paul Casanova. 2-8, base hit to right field. With 1 out, does Perez try and go coast to coast? No, not against the Oliva arm. 2 on, 1 out, Ralph Garr. Pitch to Ralph. 1-7, let's take a look at Ralph Garr. Ralph only hits .325 in 1972. He had options to hit .340, .354. But we feel like .325 is more than enough, and it enabled other hot players to get on this Brave team in those years. So that's why they kept Garr into a 72 card. They'll get him into a 74 card next year and be even more devastating. But 1-7 here is a single to center field. Marty Perez is a 13 runner in center. James is a minus arm. They're going to leave him loaded. And I would tend to want to leave him loaded if I'm the Braves and just wait for one of these dudes to go deep. Playing back with a 3-1 lead and the bases are loaded. Perez at third, Casanova second, and Garr at first. And here is Dusty Baker. 2-9. Let's take a look at Dusty Baker. And the Braves are in doing their thing here. Dusty Baker hit .321 in 72 with 17 home runs, 500 plate appearances, a 2 in center field with a negative arm. Plenty of power, everything both ways. Yep. Just checking the boxes on this superstar offense. Base hit in the center field. Casanova will hold. Base is still loaded. Another run scores. Now it's 3-2. You got to play back with slow-footed Rico Cardi up here. Playing back in the pitch to Rico Cardi. 2-7. Let's take a look at the Rico Cardi card. 1972, a big come down from 69 and 70. He hit .342 and .366 in 69 and 70. Got hurt out of the game in 71. Back here in 72 with a .277 card. Good news for Atlanta, he loads up against lefties with the card. Plus he has an injury on 9. 2-7 is single ... and your Atlanta Braves have reclaimed the lead. Runners in the corners, still just 1 out, and it's Hank Aaron. 2-8, homer, 1-7, fly ball to rest, and Hank rolls a 2, and this is the monster we thought it was going to be, folks. The Atlanta Braves, they're playing with their food at this point. They are just playing, throwing the string out there for the Twins and pawing at them and just having a fun time with them. And Jim Cott is the victim in this assault. 2 home runs and 5 singles. Everybody has scored. Kurt Mott's the only guy who's gotten out. Darrell Evans is at the plate as they bat around. 59 rolls to second. And with 2 outs, Davey Johnson in a 7-3 game. Well, you know what? The Twins are thinking, we still got a chance in this. We're going to leave old Cott in there. I mean, he's got a .207 ERA, and they got 7 runs off him. It's not like there's somebody in the bullpen that's going to do better. Davey Johnson, 66, is a pop to second base. Well, things have changed here in the top of the 6th for the Twins. They still haven't won a game this year. They got swept by the Blue Jays, and looks like, unless Chico Cardenas hits 4 more home runs in this game, looks like they're going to be winless. Cleo James, 1-8, homer, 1-4 fly ball, and a home run for Cleo James on a homer, 1-4 fly ball for the former Cub. And there's your Twins. Wait a minute, folks. Wait just 1 second. It's 7-4. Harmon Killebrew, 48, pops to short. Tony Oliva, 42, flies to left. And with 2 outs, it's the guy. It's Chico Cardenas. 52 this time is a roll to the mound. Well, it is a 7-4 game, bottom of the 6th. We'll let Cott pitch to the bottom of this lineup. Hopefully he survives it. Kurt Motton, 1-8 is a K. Marty Perez, 1-9, pops to first. And Paul Casanova, 6-11. Left X. Left fielder is the 3E10 Larry Heisel. That's a 2-base error on Larry Heisel. Runner at second, 2 outs. Well, yeah, you might as well have Cott pitch to Gar. Gar's better against righties. So with a runner in scoring position and 2 out is Ralph Gar. 1-9, you saw his card. That's his column. It's just a single dot. So the runner does have to hold at third. And it's Dusty Baker. And maybe it's time for a right-hander. So 5 2/3 for Cott. And I think they're going to go with Bill Campbell. Very young Bill Campbell, 1974. 2.63 ERA in 120 innings. Emerges, eventually becomes, I think, a 17-game winner out of the bullpen one of these years, 75 or 76. But Bill Campbell comes on in the 6th inning. Runners in the corners, 2 outs, down by 3. Need to get Dusty Baker out here. And here is the pitch to Dusty. 2-7, yeah, you saw that card, and that's his column, and that's a single, and that's an RBI. And Ralph Gar let's just stay put at second base. He's kind of jogging there. They have an 8-4 lead. No reason to take extra bases. Just station to station and wait for the long ball. Rico Cardi, 53, rolls to first. 8-4, Braves. We go to the 7th. I think George Stone's going to take the afternoon off. Let somebody else pitch. Let's get into this Atlanta bullpen. Let's have some fun with these Braves. Hal Haydel will come in. Oh, I know why they're doing this. He's a former Twin. 71 Minnesota Twin pitcher on the Braves. 4-2 with a 4.28 ERA in 40 innings. He will come in and face the Twins with a full 4-run lead in the 7th. It'll be Jim Holt. 6-11, first X. And Hank Aaron's at first base. He's a 3.9. That's pretty good for a guy who's normally the outfielder. And he makes a good defensive play. Not bad, Hank. Roof. Now he'll come out against a righty. We saw that earlier. So Mineral will come in to catch. And they'll go to Joe Lovito. Will come on in as a pinch hitter. And he will also go into the outfield defensively. He'll play center. Cleo James will go to left. And Heisel goes to DH. And here is Joe Lovito. 68 off Haydel as a walk. George Meterwald. 2-11 is another walk. And here come your Twins. Putting up a fight. So it's going to be Blefary for the injured Rod Carew. And you see how important this could be. Losing a 354 hitter and replacing him with a 212 hitter. Yeah. The pitch to Kurt Blefary. 46 off Haydel. Another walk. You don't do this when you've got a 4-run lead. And I guess the pressure of playing against his former team has gotten to Hal. And now it's going to get ugly. You got sluggers Heisel and Killebrew due up. With Cleo James as well. Bases loaded, 1 out in an 8-4 game. And here is Larry Heisel. 3-10 is fly to left, be question mark. 2-10's a grand slam. 3-10 is fly to left. Let's see if we can get a sac fly at least out of this. Out of Lovito. What's his running? Oh, he's good. He's a 15 and a B stealer. 15, 16, 17. Left fielder is Garv with a +1 arm. And that's a sac fly. And they're back to a 3-run game. 8-5 with 2 on and 2 outs. And it's Cleo James who homered in his last at bat. 62 rolls to second base. 8-5. Plenty of offense as we would have expected. Stretch time in Hotlanta. We are listening to Little Feat's 1972 LP, Put on Your Sailing Shoes. Easy to slip. Willin'. Great LP by Little Feat from the Dirty South, they like to say in a nice way. Okay, bottom of the 7th. It'll be Hank Aaron. Bill Campbell's a relief 3. We're going to leave him in there a little bit. See what he can do. Hank Aaron, 56 is a K. Terrell Evans, 1-9, homer 1-2, fly ball to rest, and he rolled a 4. Boy, the little ballpark barely contained that one. And with 2 outs, Davey Johnson looking for his 4th homer in 2 games. 3-12, flies to left. A. That was probably only warning track. Any defense to bring in here? Well, you know, you could. They don't care. Atlanta doesn't care about these things. They just put up crooked numbers and walk away with wins. And yeah. Hal Haydel, though, with a 3-run lead. We won't let this guy blow it for the Braves, but we'll leave him in there because he does need to get a little bit of work in the top of the 8th. It's Harmon Killebrew. 37 is a walk. Antonio Oliva, and I think that's it. I think that's enough fooling around with this Haydel card for the Braves. They don't feel like blowing this. They have a chance to sweep the Twins, and they don't want to let the food they're playing with run away. So McQueen will come on in the 8th inning with a runner at first, the lefty, Mike McQueen. Very young Mike McQueen. He was brought up by the Braves in 70 at 19 years old. 71, he improves to a 3.54 ERA in 56 innings. Nice improvement. And then I think they wore him out because he was gone, out of baseball, before he was 25, I believe. Anyway, Mike McQueen here in the 8th only has to face Tony Oliva with a runner at first. Tony throwing a rough day. 0 for 3, a double play, and a dropped fly ball. to this point. Has a chance to change this now. The pitch to Tony Oliva. 56 off McQueen is a flat right. Chico Cardenas, 2 for 3, 2 homers and 3 RBI today. 5-12 is a walk. 2-1, and hey, the Twins have the tie run walking into the batter's box. In an 8-5 game, it is Jim Holt. Let's take a look at Jim Holt before he swings, because this dude's pretty darn symmetrical. Very good against lefties. Is an everyday player. His best year, arguably, is here in 73. A .297 batting average, 11 home runs, 441 at-bats for Jim Holt. Big plate appearance here. The pitch to Jim Holt. 37, it misses the homer by 1 dice roll, and it's a strikeout. And with 2 outs, it'll be Joe Lovito. 59 off McQueen is short X. We have the 338 shortstop in there, but this time you get a ground ball C. Tough break for the Twins, leaving 2 more men on base. Can't do that against this Brave team. We're going to leave Bill Campbell in there. Kurt Monton is the batter. I think what they're going to do is they're going to start moving some people around. Because Monton doesn't have any hits on his card. They're going to put Tepedino as a pinch hitter, and that will put Hank Aaron in the outfield where he belongs. So here's Frank Tepedino leading off in the bottom of the 8th. 49 off Bill Campbell, single one, line out, and it's a line out. Marty Perez, 66, flies to left. He'll leave the game as Maury Wills will come on and be his defense. And Casanova, 5-12, rolls to the pitcher. Johnny Oates will come in for him as a catcher, as Casanova's an E16, Oates an E4, much better defensive catcher. Into the 9th inning of an 8-5 game. We'll go to the 9th inning with a 3-run lead here. And let's see. Let's go Drabowski. If he runs into trouble, then he'll go to House. But Mo Drabowski will come on in the 9th inning. The righty setup guy. Really had a nice year late in his career here with the Cardinals. 71, 6-1, 3.45 ERA in 60 innings. They got Mo Drabowski. They got Phil Niekro on this team. Some very old, savvy throwers. And it'll be Mitterwald leading off in the 9th. 1-9 for Mitterwald is a single. And now you got Kurt Blefrey. 1-12 is a fielder's choice. He replaces Mitterwald at first, and it's Larry Heisel. 4-11 for Heisel is first X. This is Tepedino, though. He's not very good. He's a 4-13 first baseman. But he gets a ground ball C. That is a huge break for the Braves there. Could have been a runner on base. So that moves the runner into scoring position. Cleo James much better against lefties, so if he reaches, they'll go to House in this situation. But Cleo James, Drabowski will face him in the pitch. 3-7 is a K, and that is your ball game. That's your Atlanta Braves 2023. That's how they do things in Atlanta. Just one inning where they wipe their opponent out, and then just the rest of the time they're just kind of fooling around with strategies and whatnot. 2 straight wins. Oh, and the Braves are scary in the National League East. And the Mets are like, oh boy. Mets-Braves are the rivals in this era. It wasn't that way, of course, back then. Just like the Reds and the Pirates. You stick them in the same division, they hate each other even more. And it was much safer when the Reds were in the West and their competition was the Dodgers. And the Mets competition came from the Cubs and the Cards to a degree. But now we have the Mets and Braves, and we have the Reds and Pirates in the same division. My goodness, folks. Drabowski gets a save, give up a hit and a K. McQueen, a walk and a K. Haydell, very fortunate. He walked 4 guys. Didn't give up any hits, but gave up a run. That's an interesting line. And George Stone gets the win after his team gave him plenty of support. 6 hits, 4 runs on the long ball. No walks, 3 strikeouts. Bill Campbell did a nice job coming in, putting out the fire. Gave up a single to Dusty Baker, and then after that retired everybody. So I hit in a K. And a tough day to be Jim Cott. It was the wrong assignment. It was like, you got the Braves today, Jim. Oh, great, thanks. 9 hits, 8 runs for Jim. Well, one's unearned. There's that. So only 7 of these are earned. Does dampen his Cy Young credentials a little bit, I guess. No walks and 3 strikeouts. 1019, 0108, 81057, 81057, 5504, 0455. We'll look at the year-to-date numbers for these two teams that are clearly moving in the wrong direction. Starting here, oh my goodness. We are seeing some teams jump out of the blocks this year and throw a scare into each of the leagues as if they're going to run away and hide. The days run away like wild horses over the hills, kind of. Let's just look at that right away here. So in the American League, look at some of these teams. So Detroit hasn't lost. They're 5-0. Toronto hasn't lost. They're 5-0. Meanwhile, the Twins haven't won. They're 0-5. And then the National League, some scary teams thus far. You've got, oh boy, Arizona's only got 1 win. They're 1-7. Rockies are 1-5. Already looking awful. And they're the Braves at 5-1. We haven't sorted them. Don't worry about this. You have to look at the record. The games behind hasn't been sorted yet. But the Braves are off to a 5-1 start, whereas the Mets have played longer. They haven't played interleague. They played divisional, and they're 4-5 overall. It's a nice cluster here behind the Braves. Oh boy. Let's take a look at the stats for the squads. Your 5-1 Braves, they're hitting .279 with a 4.42 ERA. 5-1, 4.42 ERA. This is the Braves. They've scored 39 runs in 6 games and given up 30 runs. They're only +9 overall. But the 39 runs in 6 games, that's 6.5 runs a game. Yeah, that's going to be very good. And you got Hank Aaron with 5 homers, Dusty Baker with 3, Davey Johnson with 4. Oddly enough, Darrell Evans is not homered yet. Interesting. Nor has Rico Carty. Boy, when those guys get started, forget it, it's over. Dusty Baker's 12 for 28, leading the club in hitting. Pitching staff, nothing amazing. Tom House has a win and 2 saves and has not given up a run as the closer, which is probably the scariest part of this team is that they can close games out with Tom House now with a sub-2 ERA. Normally the Braves were beatable because they had bad pitching. Not anymore. Very, very good enough pitching. And your Twins. Oh boy. It's not started very well for them. They are getting old right in front of our eyes here. It's good news for the White Sox and the Royals and the Brewers with the Twins 0-5 start. Even the White Sox have started 3-6, but really, you know, this division, like, nobody's doing anything in it. So I wouldn't really worry too much. All these other teams. Twins are hitting .240 with a 5.36 ERA. That's not going to win anywhere. Period. Chico Cardenas is all 3 of his home runs came in that series, and the Twins have 4 through 5 games. Still early, only 5 games in, so a lot can change for the Twins, and they have to hope it does change drastically. And the league now, through 134 games, hitting .255 with a 3.37 ERA. Thanks for checking this out, folks, and we'll see you next time.